is 40 shillings on the drum for those who...
Hey folks, this is the Ridge Runner. You're not going to hear me do another one of these things ever again, but it's been on my mind, and I need to make a quick statement about these things. And by quick statement, I say within the 10-minute mark that I generally keep these short things from. I'm probably a nightmare of both sides of the liberal and conservative movements, because I can see the merits and problems with both sides. And I may be wrong on this. I am not a political science major. However, I do like to think that I can follow what's going on in our society to a certain extent, and I am a fan of history, so I can see how things have gone in the past. On one side, we have the Democrats who think that big business is bad, and on the other, we have the Republicans who think big government is bad. And of course, I say this as an opinion, but my personal opinion is they're both right. And they're both wrong. Big anything is bad for freedom. Because a big multinational corporation or a big government have equal chances of stomping on our freedoms. And I'll go into that. Historically speaking, we can actually look back in history and see where a big multinational corporation called the East India Tea Company was able to do that. They controlled vast amounts of territory and wielded immense amounts of power within the British government, and were able to take that power and use it to push political agendas that may or may not have been in the best interest of the people of Great Britain. They had their own private army, which looked a heck of a lot like the British Army, actually. And were able to enforce their political and economic agenda using the muzzle of a musket. This is a problem. Multinational corporations today are doing the same thing. This is not new. This is not an original idea that these people have come up with, hiring mercenaries. It's just their version of the East India Tea Company soldier. Now, big government, equally a problem. Huge armies, wielding vast amounts of power over the common man, and being able to push a political agenda that may or may not be in the best interests of the common man. Do you hear a common thread in what I'm talking about here? The amazing thing is, and what most people seem to not get, is that these two groups here are feeding off each other, the big governments and the multinational corporations. Multinational corporations, one, have absolutely no patriotic thought process. Why would they? If half of their holdings are in China and Germany and any place else you can think of, and I have nothing against any of these countries, but if their primary goal is to make money no matter what, which means shipping jobs anywhere in the world, how can they truly be an American company? And they keep their agenda going by feeding into the big government. They're putting money in the pockets of in the form of campaign contributions, which now, with the death of McCain-Feingold, is more than capable of happening. Anybody can give as much money as they want to any politician, which, on one level, sounds like a great idea because personally, I like to be able to put as much money as I want to into a politician that I agree with. However, a multinational corporation should not be a person and should not apply to that particular standard. Because they are not, if they are a person, they're certainly not a U.S. citizen. They're not conducting business solely in the United States like I do. I don't, other than a few odd eBay purchases, I do not do business in other countries. I do not have workers in other countries. I do not have interests in other countries. That makes me a citizen of the United States that is interested only in the well-being of the United States. So you've got a multinational corporation with questionable patriotic intentions putting money into your big government politicians. And these are on both sides, people. We're not talking about whether they're Republicans or Democrats or Libertarians or a Green Party or what have you. These people need money to be able to become what they are. And they get it from these people. What can be done about this? And this is again going back to opinion. These multinational corporations need to be silenced. They cannot be considered persons in a legal sense within the United States. They need to be applied to the same tariffs as a foreign company shipping goods into the United States. McCain-Feingold needs to be reinstated. There is no reason why a multinational corporation should be able to give money to one of our politicians. It is the same as China or Japan or Germany or Sweden or any other country putting money into the political campaigns of our politicians. Because these people are just like them. They have no vested interest in the United States other than their own personal, financial, and political agenda. Get rid of the professional politician. Professional politicians are the bane of our country and have been for years. Hold them accountable for what they do by ensuring that they do not work for the government only. Big government can be stopped very quickly by term limits and dropping the pay rate of every person who works in this, who is an elected official of this government, to a very low rate, so that they have to go home and go back to work, so they have to live in the world that they create for us. If you take out the multinational corporations' influence with tariffs, in removal of their personhood within the legal system, you cut their legs out from underneath them, and our freedoms will be a heck of a lot more secure. As I say, you will not see another political thing on this particular thread ever. I'm not a political guy, but I am a libertarian. What I'd like to call a pre-Palin libertarian. And I would like to see libertarianism in the older sense be recognized as the proper libertarian thought process. But anyway, this is the Ridge Runner, and I'm going to sign off this rather long-winded political discussion. And if you don't like political stuff, I apologize. But I've decided this needed to be said because nobody out there seems to be saying it. This is the Ridge Runner signing off.